have like these bird brain ideas that don't. I don't want to say bird brain. So they have unrealistic ideas that just I don't know. It's very defeating, is what I'm trying to say. It's very hard to be positive and get people excited about stuff when they're like, oh, what do you mean? Well, that's never gonna happen. And it's like, oh my gosh, you have to kind of be a visionary to really illustrate things to get people on board. It's hard.
It happens all the time. Like Valley Oaks.
Yes. And it's still, I still go over there and I just.
Where's the first company? Well, this is back in 2009.
Wow, yeah.
Somebody yelled at me today about a far X ranch outside of Middletown.
Yes. Yes.
When was this decided? Over a year ago.
Wow. And they bought in 2020. Like, it's, that kind of stuff. That kind of stuff, John. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Two people spoke on Zoom. Somebody.
Yeah. And you can't force the issue, really. You can't force feed people. That, like, that to me, yeah, that's how you control issues.
Good, how are you? I'm doing well. Good. Good to see you. I know things are going to be done right whenever I see you in the room.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Good morning. Yes? I put it on my desk.
A little bit. It's going to be
Good morning. How are you, John?
yeah. I'll use a little bit of it. It'll all be figured out. Plus, I want to put out this clinic there. You know, or like open up that whole area. Oh, that's it? Okay. Yeah. Okay, Cheryl,
It doesn't sound like he knows exactly what it is, though. He's just reading it from variety.
it's a cool word, but so I mean that could open up. I hope that it's great. Because right now,
I did immunotherapy for about 5 or
so they'll actually.
Okay, no more public comments so far. Well, this is it, so.
Yeah. We got to cut it off.
Yeah.
NAPA is the North Bay Allergy and Asthma. And like a doctor here.
I feel like there's just not enough room here.
Dr. Ahn, who I met once. I have a
This? Mine. But, like, do I put one on the floor until I'm ready for the other one? Yes. Let's make sure this is on silent. I don't normally like to bring it down, but it seems like people from upstairs send me information.
There's no real reason to go back, right?
Well, Maria, I got my final grade. A minus. My last class, so I'm officially passed with an A average the whole time. I know, I'm pretty impressed with that.
I got your email.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to at least.
You know, this is the first time in my life that I had like good grades.
Doing everything I could to get that out yesterday.
Yes.
Blocking out time on my calendar
Okay.
next week to see if I can make it happen.
Awesome.
Yes, because that's the only thing that
Yes. Here, one. Can I have one of yours? Thank you. They're mints. Danae brought them for us. My friend's sister, they are. My friend's sister does beadwork. She's Native American and does all kinds of beadwork. And they're beautiful, right? Yeah.
they're so pretty.
Yeah, so I think she's gonna send me a pair too, but different. I think.
if we can all focus for 10 minutes, we will be good. Okay. Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Today is June 13th, 2024. I will begin by calling the Lake County Planning Commission meeting to order. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And Danae, do we have verification of legal notice? Yes, ma'am. Okay, thank you. And moving right along, we are looking for approval on our consent agenda, which includes the minutes from our May 23rd, 2024 Planning Commission hearing.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve item 4A on the consent agenda, the minutes from the May 23, 2024 Planning Commission hearing.
I second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Just for note, we only have 3 planning commissioners present today, so all of our decisions will have to be unanimous.
Or if they are not,
They can be
what we're considering is automatically denied.
correct.
Yeah.
Thank you for the clarification on that. We will now have public input. This is an opportunity for anyone wishing to speak on anything that is not on the agenda today. Do we have any hands in the Zoom room? Good morning. No hands in the Zoom. Thank you, Sam. No hands showing in the Zoom room. And I'm showing a time of 9:04. Our first item takes place at 9:05. Oh, we do have a hand up in the chambers. You're welcome to approach the podium. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, commissioners and staff. Thank you all for the work that you do. I know it's not easy. My name's Maria Kahn, and I just wanted to say that I come to these meetings, or I'm involved in these meetings, and I was really disappointed last time, the meeting that we had on May 23rd, 2024. It was really obvious to me and other people that it seemed that you came to the meeting already pre-decided on how you're going to vote. And to us, that's not how this should go. The purpose of the Planning Commission meeting, I understand, is to involve the public by listening to input and information brought forth and weighing it with the project against the general plan. When we show up and we speak up and then we watch as our comments fall on deaf ears and the projects get passed that fail to protect our natural and cultural resources and the people you serve. Your actions show that these meetings are merely a formality, and the public doesn't really matter. So a lot of people actually care what happens in their community and expect to be given the courtesy of consideration, yet we're being disenfranchised. So this is our avenue to help guide the decisions of what happens in our community. And if our efforts are not even considered, then you're just wasting our time and yours as well. So we really hope that the dialogue happens, that you do take into consideration the things that we have to say, because I know that I get here and I sound like a crazy woman, but it's because I care so much. You know, I care about my neighbors, I care about what happens in my valley, and now I'm getting all emotional.
It's okay.
I'm trying to really hold it together because I don't want to yell at you or lambaste you. I just want things to change because I don't feel like we're getting heard. Dang, I gotta get a grip. Okay, so thank you very much for your time. I just wanted to put that out there, that I really was not happy with the last meeting and the way it went.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
I do appreciate your, you can sit down. I do appreciate your comment, to not get into necessarily a dialogue with you. Community and public input is what we really value. And as you can see, the public participation is non-existent. And there are certain items that, that do trigger more public input and interaction than others. I invite the public to come out and to be a part instead of waiting for actions to happen and then people come and have issues with the way that the procedural things have to go. I wish that there was more community input and that your neighbors would have your back and that you would be, instead of being up here, being that sole voice. I wish that there would be more input. Sitting up here on a planning commission or on any type of committee or board, this is a public contribution, okay? I sit up here because I feel that my contribution of knowledge is going to be beneficial to my community and the people in it, okay? So to say, I'm getting nervous too because we're very obviously passionate about the same things, so we have that in common. But please understand that it's a difficult position to be in, and we're either heroes or we're zeros. There's not going to be anybody that's ever happy. We base our decisions on staff and their job in looking into the general plan. Everything that you touched on is right spot on. And all I can say is we encourage the public to come be a part of it. I appreciate your voice. I appreciate you taking that on personally and coming up here and talking to the mic because it's not easy, and neither is sitting up here, okay? So nothing is predetermined. Me personally, I could have a feeling and a thought based on my staff report, and then having the weight of the public, that's huge. And I say the weight of the public because it is a weighted decision. I have nothing else to say. We're going to go ahead and start our meeting. Our first item today is a public hearing rescheduled from April 25th and May 9th, 2024. It is consideration of a major use permit, UP 22-14, and mitigated negative declaration, IS 22-13, for commercial cannabis cultivation, including 51,060 square feet of outdoor cannabis canopy and type 13 cannabis distributor transport only self-distribution license for cannabis transportation. Applicant is Blackwell Capital Management, LLC, Christopher McLeod, location 22004 Morgan Valley Road, Lower Lake, APN 012-069-25. Good morning, staff.
Good morning, commissioners. This morning we're going to present to you the Blackwell Management Company's major use permits. Today on the agenda, we will focus on the permit request, the project scope, the site description, project analysis, aspects of interest, cumulative impacts, and recommendations and conditions. The applicant and the consultant are present in person. The project proposes one A-type 3 medium outdoor license for 43,000 square foot outdoor cannabis canopy, 3 A-type 1C special cottage licenses for a total of 7,500 square feet, and 1 A-type 13 self-distribution transport only license. The parcel size is 37.81 acres. The site is located approximately 4.6 miles east of the Lower Lake Community Growth Boundary. The zoning and general plan designations. The zoning is rural lands and agriculture preserve zone, and the general plan is rural lands. The Lower Lake Planning Area and within Supervisory District 1. The project is situated in an area characterized by large undeveloped lots located in the hills of Morgan Valley Road, with setbacks from cultivation areas that are at least 100 feet from the nearest property line, meeting setback requirements. There is one Class 2 water course and numerous ephemeral channel Class 3 water courses are located on the property. Setbacks are at least 100 feet from the Class 2 water courses, and setbacks are 100 feet from the Class 3 water courses exceeding setback requirements. Historical land uses include animal grazing and legacy cannabis operations. There are 3 proposed cultivation areas identified as sites D, E, and F per the site plans. Site D is going to consist of 9,350 square feet of outdoor commercial cannabis canopy. Site E, 11,050 square feet of mixed light cannabis canopy. No, that's not right. That's outdoor. It's all outdoor. And site F is going to be 22,560 outdoor cannabis canopy. There will be a portable ADA compliant restroom, a 6-foot tall perimeter fencing with security system. There are 2 8x40 shipping containers, 2 120 square feet storage sheds for pest, ag storage, and a security center, 2 standard parking spaces, and 1 ADA compliant parking space. There's a locking metal gate and 3 parking spaces. Oh, we already said that. The existing uses, the site is developed with 1 permitted groundwater well, 2 Connex containers, a ground mount solar for the existing well, 1 portable toilet, interior roadway improvements, and a metal gate. This actually used to have a home on it and it was destroyed in the fire. The project analysis regulations reviewed for compliance is the Lake County General Plan, the Lower Lake Area Plan, Lake County Zoning Ordinance, and California State regulations. The Lake County General Plan goals and policies reviewed include Chapter 3 for land use, Chapter 7 for health and safety, Chapter 8 for noise, and Chapter 11 for water resources. The Lower Lake Area Plan project analysis. The applicant does not propose any tree removal and is required to adhere to the State Water Resources Control Board cannabis cultivation policy, requiring runoff to be retained on-site, mitigating off-site stream drainage impacts. The applicant has provided a biological assessment that recommends mitigation measures that have been incorporated in the draft initial study mitigated negative declaration and conditions of approval. The project analysis was done with the Lake County Zoning Ordinance for Article 4, Agricultural Preserve District, Article 27, Uses Generally Permitted, and Article 41 for Performance Standards, and it does meet those requirements. And the CEQA initial study found that the project could cause potential impacts to resources of air quality, biological resources, cultural resources, noise, tribal cultural resources, and wildfire. California Environmental Quality Act, a mitigated negative declaration is proposed with the CEQA environmental determination for the project. All identified impacts can be reduced to less than significant with mitigation measures implemented. The public comment period occurred from July 21st, 2023 to August 20th, 2023. Mitigations are outlined in the staff report attachments to the draft conditions of approval and attachment for the draft initial study. AB 52 tribal notification. Notification of the project was sent to local tribes on April 5th of 2023. Abemetto, Pomo of Upper Lake deferred correspondence to Middletown Rancheria on April 18th, 2023. No other comments were received. Middletown Rancheria was notified of this hearing on April 10th of 2024 for the previous hearing that was continued, and we also reached out to them, and the applicant, the consultant, and the Middletown tribe did do a site visit, and they did not recommend any mitigation measures. Aspects of interest, water use. All major and minor use permit applicants are required to submit a hydrological analysis and required to submit an estimated annual water usage. Water use is estimated at 2.5 acre-feet per year. For all permitted cannabis cultivation projects, water monitoring is required and is submitted to the Community Development Department performance reports as a part of their annual compliance monitoring and identifying estimated use and actual use. Cumulative impacts. There are 0 pending projects and 2 approved projects within 1 mile of the proposed project, and there is 1 proposed project and 7 approved projects within 3 miles of this project. Recommendations. And staff recommends environmental recommendation adopt mitigated negative declaration initial study IS 22-13 for use permit UP 22-14 with findings found in the staff report. Major use recommendations is approve use permit UP 22-14 with the proposed conditions of approval with the findings found in the staff report. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Trish. Any questions or comments for staff before we open it up to the public?
Quick question. Where was the legacy grow activity compared to the proposed activity in this application?
The same spot.
If you could,
Is it on the same disturbed piece of the property, or?
where you're going to have the consultant, I believe, chime in on that. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Trey Sherrill, consultant for Blackwell Capital Management.
You could move it up if you'd like. Don't be afraid of it. There you go.
Hunched. Yes, the legacy cultivation was Article 72 compliant cultivation on this property prior to the Rocky Fire, and then for a short period of time after it. And it occurred on one of the three proposed cultivation areas. The other two proposed cultivation areas were, it was a horse paddock and kind of a stockyard for other livestock.
Okay. Thank you.
And I'm available for any other questions as well.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions for staff before we open it up to the public? Okay. We will officially open up public comment. If anyone wishes to speak on this item, feel free to approach the podium. If you are in the Zoom room, you can raise your hand and we will unmute you. Any hands in the Zoom room, Sam?
No hands raised in the Zoom room.
Okay, no hands in the Zoom room. Anybody else wishing to speak? All right, I will close public comment. Staff, thank you for your detailed presentation. I also want to thank the applicant and their patience for having to reschedule and getting back on our agenda. So thank you for that. If there isn't any further discussion, we will leave it up to you. Commissioners.
I'd just like to note that it appears there's only one public comment attached, and it's from Redbud Audubon, whose comments are always welcome and very detailed. They are passing, making no comments on this, I would note. And I'm not aware of any other green sheets. We always like to make sure we're addressing, what we hear about from the public in a green sheet or otherwise.
No.
Thank you, Commissioner
Yeah,
Hess.
we can confirm there are no other green sheets.
Thank you.
Yeah, seeing this project's pretty straightforward, and like Commissioner Hess mentioned, there's no public comments or in the Zoom room, so I'm prepared to make a motion. I move that the Planning Commission find that the potential impacts associated with this project can be mitigated to less than significant through the implementation of the mitigated negative declaration IS 22-13 submitted by Blackwell Capital Investment LLC for the property located at 22004 Morgan Valley Road in Lower Lake. APN 012-069-25 will not have a significant effect on the environment, and that the Planning Commission adopt initial study IS 22-13 with the findings listed in the staff report dated June 13th, 2024.
Just before seconding, I'd like to note that when we receive a staff report, it's almost always leaning in favor of a negative mitigated declaration or not, because it conforms to the rules within the cannabis ordinance, within the general plan. So it's not as though we are ignoring public comments, but we're also operating within the four corners of the application. And usually we receive affirmative staff reports rather than recommendations that we do not approve. And that doesn't mean we automatically blindly follow the staff recommendations, but it does mean that in terms of the oversight and all of the different agencies that are involved, that this passes muster, and we of course have to give weight to those findings as well. And with that, I will second that motion.
Thank you, Commissioner Hess. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
I move that the Planning Commission approve major use permit UP 22-14, applied for by Blackwell Capital Investment LLC for the property located at 22004 Morgan Valley Road, located in Lower Lake. APN 012-069-25 does meet the requirements of Section 51.4 and Article 27 of the Lake County Zoning Ordinance, and that the major use permit be granted based on the findings and subject to the conditions included in the staff report dated June 13th, 2024.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. 1 second. I just want to make sure that we have the name of the applicant correct on our motions. I believe Commissioner Chavez said Blackwell Investment.
Blackwell Capital I might have said investment, yeah.
Let's just make sure that we have it corrected to the Blackwell Capital Management LLC.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to our, my note. Please note that the applicant or any interested person is reminded that the zoning ordinance provides for a 7-calendar-day appeal period. If there is a disagreement with the Planning Commission's decision, an appeal to the Board of Supervisors may be filed. The appropriate forms and applicable fee must be submitted prior to 5 p.m. on or before the 7th calendar day following the Planning Commission's final determination.
Thank you.
Moving on to our next timed item for 9:20. I'm showing a time now of 9:24. It's a public hearing continued from March 14th and March 28th, 2024, and rescheduled from April 25th and May 9th, 2024. Consideration of a proposed major use permit, UP 20-33, and mitigated negative declaration, IS 20-39, for commercial cannabis cultivation, including 304,710 square feet of outdoor canopy and a Type 13 cannabis distributor transport only self-distribution license for cannabis transportation. Applicant Melly Lou, location 8531 High Valley Road, Clear Lake Oaks, APN 005-003-34.
That would be 006.
Okay. Do I have the wrong one?
006, 00334.
Okay, let's have it on my agenda. I have it as 005-003-34. So,
The staff report
okay.
Yeah,
refers to 006.
it is 006.
So we will correct it to 006-003-34. Thank you for that correction.
Thank you, Commissioners. Good morning.
Good morning.
So on today's agenda, we will go over the permit request for UP 20-33 Miley Lou Farms, the project scope, the site description, project analysis, points of interest, cumulative impacts, and recommendations and conditions. The project proposes a total of 7 acres of outdoor canopy area and 1 A-type 13 self-distribution license. The total acreage of the parcel is approximately 160 acres. As you can see on the picture up there, the green square is the proposed cultivation area. Aspects of interest. So from the Planning Commission request on March 14th of 2024, the applicant has updated their property management plan dated March 29th, 2024 to reflect the current proposed project plan. Staff did contact Elam Indian Colony, and tribal consultation took place on March 19th of 2024. The Tribal Preservation Officer conducted a site visit on April 1st, 2024. They noted no concerns with the project moving forward with the implementation of Tribal Cultural Resource Mitigation Measures, TCR-1 and TCR-2, which are in the conditions of approval and on the draft initial study. Mitigated negative declaration. Tribal consultation concluded on April 10th, 2024. The applicant submitted updated site plans to reflect the solar field being reduced in size and the easement setback from the PG&E power transmission lines. Yeah, that's what was up there. in the vicinity, sorry, I lost my train of thought. The north is mostly undeveloped. The east is numerous vacant parcels with one developed with the residents. The south is mostly undeveloped and west is mostly undeveloped. The project site is approximately 1 mile to the east of the nearest community growth boundary of Lucerne. The zoning designation is the general plan is rural lands. The full zoning is rural lands, waterway, scenic combining district. It is in the shoreline communities planning area and in the supervisorial district 3. The site description. The site is located approximately 7.5 miles from Highway 20. The project parcel has variable topography with a series of ridgelines and valleys. The proposed project location is located in an area that is 0% to 20% slope. The project scope. The site plans were updated in June of 2024 to reflect the easement and PG&E comments. There is 7 acres of outdoor canopy area proposed, located within 7 cultivation areas. Within each of the 7 cultivation areas, there will be 4 100-square-foot stormproof sheds for harvest storage for a total of 28. One 100-square-foot stormproof shed for pesticide storage for a total of 7. One 100-square-foot stormproof shed for security equipment for a total of 7. There will be 10 5,000-gallon water storage tanks for irrigation, a 5,000-gallon metal water storage tank for fire suppression, an employee parking area with 8 spaces and 1 ADA compliant space. The existing uses. The property is developed with interior access roads, an existing security gate, perimeter fencing, and 1 groundwater well. Regulations reviewed for compliance is the Lake County General Plan, the Shoreline Communities Area Plan, the Lake County Zoning Ordinance, and California State Regulations. The Lake County General Plan goals and policies reviewed include Chapter 3, Land Use, Chapter 7, Health and Safety, Chapter 8 for noise, and Chapter 11, Water Resources. There were no conflicting policies within the general plan and no specific policies addressing commercial cannabis cultivation in the general plan. Project analysis. The project as proposed is for outdoor commercial cultivation, cannabis cultivation. There are no mapped areas of farmland of local importance or farmland of statewide importance at the project site. The proposed project is not located within the farmland protection zone. Greenhouses are not required. The applicant has provided a water availability analysis and a drought management plan and is required to adhere to the State Water Resources Control Board Cannabis Cultivation General Order requiring runoff to be retained on site, mitigating impacts. The project analysis with the Lake County Zoning Ordinance was Article 27 for rural lands and Article 27 uses generally permitted. The CEQA initial study found that the project could have potential impacts to resources with aesthetics, air quality, biological resources, cultural resources, geology and soils, hazardous and hazardous materials, hydrology and water quality, noise, tribal cultural resources, utilities, and wildfire. The project analysis with the mitigated negative declaration is proposed CEQA environmental determination for this project. All impacts identified can be reduced to less than significant with mitigation measures implemented. Public comment period occurred from July 26, 2023 to August 25, 2023. Mitigations are outlined in the staff report Attachment 2, Draft Conditions of Approval, and Attachment 4, Draft Initial Study, Mitigated Negative Declaration. AB 52 Tribal Notification. Notification of the project was sent to 12 local tribes on April 9, 2020. Tribal consultation was not requested at that time. Tribal consultation was reopened for Elam Colony on March 21, 2024, and tribal consultation concluded on April 10th of 2024. At that time, the AB 52 notice went out. Elam Colony did not have a tribal historic preservation officer. After the March 14th hearing, staff reached out to their tribal historic preservation officer, Clifford Mata, to see if he was interested in doing tribal consultation for Lou Farms. He did agree to the consultation. A site visit was conducted with Lou Farms and with Mr. Mata. on April 1st. He determined he would support the project with the updated tribal cultural resource mitigation measures that are in the draft mitigated negative declaration, and it was concluded on April 10th. Points of interest. Access. The property is accessed via High Valley Road, a county-maintained road. A metal gate controls access to the private gravel and native soil surfaced interior access roads of the project property. Federal lands crossing. The project property accessible via High Valley Road, a county-maintained roadway. Approximately 0.42 miles of High Valley Road extends into federal lands. The applicant, Meili Liu, has executed an indemnification agreement to indemnify the County of Lake in case of any federal intervention. So the project location is where the star is, and the federal lands is down 0.42 miles. Cumulative impacts. Within 1 mile of the proposed project, there is 1 pending project. Within 3 miles of the project, there are 3 pending projects and 3 approved projects. Environmental recommendations is to adopt mitigated negative declaration, initial study IS 20-39 for use permit UP 20-33 with findings found in the staff report. Major use permit recommendations, approve major use permit UP 20-33 with the proposed amended conditions of approval and with the findings found in the staff report. Any questions?
Thank you. I don't have any questions. Commissioners, do you guys have any questions before we open it up to the public? Okay. Do you have anything to say, Michelle? No. Okay. We will officially open this up for public comment. This is the opportunity for anyone wishing to speak on this item. You're welcome to approach the podium. And we will also get to the Zoom room eventually. So when you get to the podium, please just be sure to state your first and last name. And if you could also just jot it down for us, we'd appreciate it. Thank you. Take your time.
Sure, and I'd like to submit these to the commissioners.
Sure.
So I don't know who can hand them out.
And then also, just to bring to light, we did receive a green sheet on this item this morning. I'll let the public go ahead and have their 3 minutes, and then I believe I would actually we could read this into the public comments eventually. We will read it out loud. So we'll go ahead and let you have your 3 minutes.
Hi again, I'm Maria Kahn.
Good morning.
I live in High Valley. Can you hear me? Okay.
That's better, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we have several concerns. First of all, our road is not designed for high traffic, and it is in a terrible shape right now because of PG&E, but moreover, it doesn't even meet the requirements for fire codes. It's not wide enough. So we have a continual history of problems with trucks getting stuck around one curve. As you may know, we had it happen 2 days in a row recently, and it takes several hours for them to clear that, and it blocks the valley and Cerrito Drive. So when something happens there, it affects everybody that's on either side of it. So we have serious concerns about fire danger. The photovoltaic panel discussion in the documents says it was reduced, but there's no data to analyze so that we can see how it's reduced, how much it's going to be, who's installing it, how it's going to be put in there, and that's a big concern. If it's not done properly, it could cause a fire danger. Along with High Valley Road, we want a cumulative traffic study done on the road. We already have 2 wineries, several approved grows, and a school right at the bottom of the hill. And it is one way in, one way out. So if something should happen, any of these businesses that are on the far end of it up in the bridge are going to be coming down and creating gridlock trying to get out of the valley. Everybody will be exiting by the school onto Highway 20. So it's a huge concern for us that we will be trapped in the valley, and emergency personnel won't be able to get in or out because the road is just too narrow to accommodate the traffic and the trucks. So you'll see I included pictures of what High Valley Road looks like before their nice little grading job they did about a week or so ago. That's what it looks like quite often, and the county tells me that they grade this road twice a year. My friend and I went up there and noticed that we realized it was graded, and he said, wow, this is really nice. I've never seen it like this. And we go 7 miles up the road past Lou Farms to an area where a shooting range is to practice target shooting. So people travel that road, and we know what that's like. So it was really nice. We were shocked, quite honestly. So aside from that, we want a traffic study done because you're putting in all these projects, and there is impact when you put them all together. There is a cumulative impact. Let's see. The mitigated negative declarations proposes unqualified persons to replace credentialed scientists in recognizing cultural artifacts and changes to biological resources. We are not happy with that. We don't think that a migrant worker working on a farm is going to be able to look at a cultural artifact and identify it as something that's important. We believe they'll just probably mow it right under or be told to mow it right under because there's no oversight watching these people. So no offense, but we have some experience with sours doing that. They just plowed everything under. And it's hurtful to us. We value our valley. So let's see. So we're not happy with those mitigations. Also, background checks. I contacted the CDD about background checks, and I was told that background checks are only done on the owners. And the ordinances say that background checks need to be on all applicants and employees and contractors for these jobs. So we want to make sure that those are done because we did have problems with undocumented people and undocumented vehicles in our valley that slept on the side of the road and did things in our properties that were offensive to us. They threw trash, they did cookies, they generally, sat there and drank beer and threw their beer cans into our valley. So we're not happy with that. Well, I can't say they were migrant people, but they were certainly people that worked at the grow in a vehicle with no license plates or registration, unmarked vehicles. They also had, unmarked vehicles traveling our valley with guns and intimidating the residents if we should be driving through. So it was really awful, quite honestly. Okay, let's see. Additional background studies were requested by 2 organizations, but they were not performed. So we know that there are quite a few different species of animals up there. We see tremendous amount of birds through our valley, hawks, and I think there's even eagles up there. So we wanted those studies to be done because we value our wildlife. Let's see. High Valley is the ridge is an extreme fire danger area because of the persistently high winds up there. I don't know if the applicants spent much time up there, but it gets really wild. And any little spark is going to just spread immediately. We want the applicant to carry some sort of fire insurance as a mitigation measure. Let's see. We are concerned our property values are going to go down because of living next to cannabis grows. We also want to highlight that Lou Farms was actually busted for illegally growing on August 3rd, 2021. And we don't feel comfortable trusting people that, knowingly break the law and then come back and try to make nice, So we ask that you deny this. So then just because I'm the only one standing up in my valley doesn't mean the other people don't care. One of my ladies is disabled and she can't get here. So I'm representing us, and I hope that you will consider our information that we're bringing to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate your time and your comment. Do we have any hands in the Zoom room? Okay. Go ahead and read.
Okay, Denise, you will have permission to talk. Let me just, okay. Please provide us your full name, and you'll have 3 minutes for comment.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, We have
May we have your
100
first
acre.
and last name, please?
Oh, I'm sorry, Denise Orpiston Love.
Thank you, Denise. Go ahead with your comment. You'll have 3 minutes.
Yeah. So there is public comment. It's not non-existent. I am a concerned resident and property owner of 300 acres to the east of this potential grow that's been in our family for over 75 years. And we care deeply about our property and the protection of the environment and the safety, the health and safety of that mountain. And I agree with many of the comments made by the previous speaker. One of my primary concerns, well, I have several, is the use of water. I know that that has been carefully studied, but that is a large amount of water. And so to be sure that's not going to deplete the groundwater. We have a lot of rain this last year, but there have been years that we have been in drought. So, that's a concern. The road, again, these have been brought up. But it is a county maintained road, and yes, it's beautiful right now, and they do the best that they can with the resources they have. I appreciate it. But I have to say, sometimes about 6 months of the year, it is almost unpassable. There are ruts and so forth. So with the extra trucks and all of the work that'll go on up there, it will definitely impact that. So it does impact residents that live up there and maybe, worsening that road. So I just want to note that that is a practicality. And again, I appreciate very much all the work that's done by Public Works. And I know they do the best they can, but the reality is it will be worsened by this. I do have, water, road. I am concerned about the pesticides. I heard there's a pesticide, and just the pesticides I hope that is really being carefully examined, the risks of that to the environment, and its location to the water. I'm a social work professor, not an engineer, but just a concern. And there have been grows up there. I'm not an anti-grow or a pro-grow person. I'm just an environmentalist and someone who wants to preserve as much as I can, the environment. But previous grows, they start out with these wonderful plans, and then they leave dead trees. And just before this grow, there's a big pile of dead trees from the last grow that left, and is a fire risk. So I think the last, and without me running out of time, my main concern, really primary concern, is the monitoring of this grow over time. We're in it for the long haul. Our children, our grandchildren will be up on this mountain. And what is the plan to monitor these conditions in this plan? If they leave and there's big piles, or if all of this doesn't, if all of these conditions are not adhered to, what is the plan in the long term for the county to be sure that they are adhering to all this? And that's my main concern, because the winds up there and the wildfire risk, it's a reality. We lost a house, and we lost a lot up there already, and we can't afford to lose more. And I just hope that all of these conditions are really being looked at for the long term and from a really practical lens.
All right.
So that's it.
Thank you, Denise. We appreciate your comment.
You're welcome.
Sam, do we have any other hands in the Zoom room?
No additional hands at this time.
Okay, no hands in the Zoom room. Is there a possibility, staff, that we could share screen on the green sheet that we received with these photos? Because I'm getting prepared to read the letter, and I feel that these pictures might just be important for the public to see. And this is a green sheet that we received right before we called the meeting to order.
If we could take a short break, we could scan that in, email
Excellent.
it to ourselves, and pop it up there for you.
Okay, I'm showing a time of 9:46. Let's go ahead and give staff adequate time. We will meet back here at 9:55. That's 10 minutes.
There she is.
Hey, Dan. I haven't seen you in years. What are you doing? Nice to see you. You're wearing your Superman shirt.
Inappropriate.
Good. Yeah, you look great. Well done. Nice to see you.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for your patience. Time is now 9:55. We will resume our meeting. If you're just tuning in, we took a brief break in the middle of our public comment portion of our meeting on this agenda item for Lou Farms. I am prepared to read the green sheet, which is a public comment that we received this morning. And while I am reading it, you will hopefully you will see on your screen some photos that were included in the email that we received that I felt were pretty significant to accompany the reading of the email. So without further ado, this is a green sheet received this morning. Please submit this in the Lou Farms Cannabis Project UP 22-33 for Thursday, June 13th, 2024. To the Planning Commission. In considering the Lou Farms Project UP 20-33, I would like you to consider High Valley Road and the impacts these grows will have on it. On June 4th, a semi-truck was stuck on Horseshoe Bend, and it was stuck and blocked the entire road for most of the day. Residents could not enter or leave High Valley or Cerrito Drive. Then, the following day, June 5th, 2024, another semi-truck was stuck in the exact location, once again blocking the path to High Valley. Both of these incidents took longer than 5 hours to be removed. This is a continual problem and not just a once-in-a-while occurrence. During these incidences, residents cannot leave the valley, pick up their children from school, get to work, get home, etc. A neighbor who was on dialysis 3 times a week had to cancel his appointment on the 4th due to the incident and then needed to go on the 5th. However, once again, there was another incident in which he could not get to his dialysis. This is very dangerous it is very dangerous to miss dialysis. Given the fact that High Valley, for the most part, has been spared from the past devastating fires, allowing solar in extreme fire danger area poses a very real danger to the safety and welfare of the residents, adding to that the condition of the road, semis getting stuck, and only one way in and out. High Valley Road fails to meet the minimum width requirement of 20 feet across, 10 feet per lane, per the 2018 International Fire Codes for Roadways. Additionally, there are no white lines, no sidewalks, no shoulders, no posted speed signs, no roadway lighting, and no blind curve notifications, which creates further dangers to drivers and pedestrians alike. We need the county to consider the cumulative impacts of all of these projects on High Valley and its residents, so we are all able to evacuate safely in the event of an emergency. Lou Farms is located in or surrounded by a very high wildland fire hazard severity zone area. If a fire does occur, all of those cars and trucks will have only one way out, and that is down through High Valley and East Lake School. It is extremely hard to get fire insurance in these areas, and most have been dropped. These projects need to have a road study. And then it just goes to explain semi-truck or semi-stuck on High Valley Road on June 5th, also a picture of the semi-truck on June 4th, also another stuck a while back. Please see the pictures of the semis on the road and High Valley Road flooded in the wintertime. Thank you. And there isn't a name on this. I'm being told it's from Lori Correa. I do thank her for taking the time to get this in front of us, as well as her attached photos. We still have public comment open, so if anybody in the chambers is wishing to speak, you're still welcome to come up and approach the podium. If anybody is in the Zoom room and wants to chime in, they are welcome to do so at this time. I will let you speak. Let's see if there's anybody else who hasn't spoke yet. We'll give them a chance to to get their input in?
Madam Chair, there's no one in the Zoom who wishes to speak or has their hand raised.
Thank you for the heads up on the Zoom room. You're welcome to come on up and speak.
I'm in the Zoom chair.
Oh, I wish I had one of those.
Right?
If you could just state your first and last name, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak.
Dan Rush, Labor Resource Management. We're a cannabis consulting and compliance firm. I have a very long history here in Lake County. I'm also a property owner here. Our family has 3 properties here. Our family lives here. Well, I'm also MK's uncle. And so this is part of my family as well. I'm here in a professional and a family capacity and as a neighbor. So one of the things I'd like to point out is we're looking forward to getting together with our neighbors. We're looking forward to being neighbors and being productive in working with the neighbors in the county, planning, zoning, to help address all of the inadequacies of the roads, of the environment, of the entire process. So to look at us as folks who are coming in to rip and roar and tear or to contribute to the negligence or the problems that exist, we want to change that paradigm, and we want to reach out to our neighbors and also to the commissioners and let everybody know that we're here to be part of the county. We're not a giant corporation. We're a family farm, and we look forward to being good neighbors and assisting in all of the concerns that we've heard here today. They're now going to be our concerns as well. And we also are going to have apprenticeship programs, training, certifications. There's going to be a lot of stuff that comes along with this from a family farm perspective. So thank you very much.
Yes, just ask a follow-up question. Yes, sir.
I think your mic's off.
In terms of neighborly contact, and that's not something that we can impose on an applicant and neighbors, but we highly encourage that there is that kind of communication and outreach from both sides, both parties. Have there been any such meetings yet, or would this be the beginning of something?
Well, we're hoping that things increase. We've reached out to some of the neighbors and haven't got a very positive response. Some people see us as outsiders coming in. Other people don't like cannabis. And I'm going to be in the foyer here in a while with my business cards, contact information. You can call us at any time. We met with the tribal preservation officer. We took him on a tour. Actually, his car got stuck in the mud too. And so we had to spend about 5 or 6 hours getting his car out. Another time we went up and 3 trees had fallen. And in a matter of 2 or 3 hours, we had who we affectionately call now Treezilla, come out and move 3 giant oaks right after the last storm. You know, we obviously aren't rich, but we intend to invest the adequate resources, the adequate communication with the neighbors. We want to be part of the neighborhood. We want to be down here talking about what we're concerned about as neighbors. We want to join you. We want to, you know, we want to make sure that this is a dignified industry, that it's, and also a nice family farm. And I think I answered.
Yeah, I've got another question for you.
Yes, sir.
Speaking of trucks, vehicles, and these pictures are pretty compelling. There's a reference in the staff report to 16 work trucks and 16 parking spaces and maybe 32, 33 trips a day. What kind of work trucks are you talking about when you talk about your vehicles that would be on the road?
We don't intend to be imposing. We have to, you know, we have to have enough vehicular traffic to accommodate the business.
But what type of vehicle would that be when you say a work
It's
truck?
certainly not going to be giant diesel trucks.
Well, I'm trying to understand that. It seems crazy to me that some of the vehicles, some of these semi-trucks would even have attempted that road in the first place. Would that be, we have nothing to do with ag and ag department decisions. Would those be Brassfield vehicles or?
Well, you know, box trucks, what do they call them, bobtails? might be the largest vehicles. I mean, we're not moving tens and thousands of pounds. There's going to be a little bit of vehicular traffic as we get things installed.
What in your opinion where are those other trucks coming or going from and to?
These other trucks?
That have been shown in the pictures, for
I've seen a lot of PG&E activity up there. I've seen some neighbors up there working on the roads themselves, including us. There's local traffic. I don't see a lot of traffic there.
I'm not sure if you have the answer, but maybe. There was a note, or it was noted in the email that there wasn't any road signs. Like when you go on Hopland, it says if your trailer is this length, don't turn around now, don't continue on this road. Is there anything that any road signs that state any type of length restrictions, or if you don't know, then that's fine. Just say you don't know.
There really isn't any traffic controls.
Okay.
There really isn't any signs. Anybody who has the vision to drive can see that it's a country road.
Well, I am referring to mainly a semi driver who's just out to do a delivery. They look at, High Valley Road, and they make it halfway up the road, and they hit that horseshoe, and there's no denying that truck should not have been on that road, obviously. I'm not saying that it's your personal problem, that it was your truck, but there's obviously traffic up there that causes that. That has a huge impact on the surrounding areas, whether it's the winery, whether it's your farm, their farm, whoever. That obviously needs to be addressed somehow, some way.
And there are some controls, and I don't remember exactly what they are. When I say controls, I mean signs.
Sure.
Down below in the industrial area where the winery is, where their facilities are. There's some other commercial business when you leave Highway 20 and start going up Big Valley Road. But as soon as you get past the wineries, and as soon as the grade begins, I mean, it's clear. It's a rough country road. There aren't any controls. Mm-hmm. And there may have been at some time. And we would offer even to draw a little bit of a map and tell folks where controls are, or where they should be. Mm-hmm. It's a county-maintained road, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So, we would be glad to help with that. There really isn't a lot of traffic up there, and anybody that took a semi-truck up there is just insane.
Right.
They should have broke it down into a couple of 3-box trucks.
Sure.
Well, and staff, correct me if I'm wrong, but in terms of 4290 and 4291 requirements for emergency services, firefighting, that kind of thing, I've never quite understood it, but usually we're told that it is compliant from where the property of the grow begins into the grow, but the road that goes to that property, even if it's county maintained, the applicant has nothing to do with those 4290 or 4291 requirements. Is that correct? I mean, the road sounds awful, but that's not the direct responsibility of the applicant. Right. The applicant has to just maintain its road from within its boundaries.
That is correct. And for all outdoor cultivation, even the driveway and the access roads are not required to be 4290 compliant per our code. Did also just want to note for clarification that in our analysis and the property management plan submitted by the applicant, we assumed a total of 32 trips per day, which is well below the 110 threshold you typically see for vehicle miles traveled, and 1 delivery truck, such as like a box truck. So just if that's helpful for the commission.
Okay.
Commissioner?
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Yep, you're welcome to approach the podium. Please be sure to state your first and last name and write it down on the sheet. Thank you. You'll have 3 minutes.
You got to write your name down now. I will. Okay. Hi, I'm Damon Hauswald. I'm the master cultivator for this project. I have been since the land was purchased, and I will be moving forward. I got my master's degree from Yale University School of the Environment in 1996. So I've spent about 20 28 years worrying about natural resource management and environmental concerns in general. Our whole grow is going to be organic. We're growing this marijuana for cancer patients. So there's going to be no, this is just because I heard comments made, there'll be no pesticides involved, no fungicides, no herbicides, no chemical fertilizers. All of the nutrients for the plant will be organic material that will be in the soil, that will be in pots, contained, and we will only be feeding the plants water. That's it. In terms of the vehicles, our two largest vehicles, we have a 16-foot flatbed farm truck, and we have a 17-foot box truck. Nothing bigger than that would we use, or would anybody use to go up. The photos where the semi-trucks were stuck are way down at the bottom, just above where the school is, on the big paved part of High Valley Road. They're not anywhere near where we are, or even where the wine producing folks are. So I just wanted to address those concerns for all of the concerned neighbors in the area. And I'm here for any questions you have about the cultivation that's going to be going on there.
Could you speak to Ms. Khan's concern or comment about earlier unpermitted growing?
What was her comment?
That the applicant has at some point been engaged in early growing before there was anything permitted? And if there's a better member of the team who'd like to respond?
We were personally staying up there. We didn't have any workers up there. It was just us when we were in the middle of this process. And
but that's not what they're asking. They're asking about the neighbors' concerns about the the accident we have over there. Okay, here this is
just before you start, if you could just.
Oh, this is Mei Li Liu.
Thank you. And then,
and I'm the applicant for this project.
Okay.
And I restarted it's like almost 4 or 5 years ago already, and we were. Giving early activation at that time, but it's just a very starting point for the Lake County to communicate, and my files dropped here and here. And at one point in time, it was granted for early activation, and it was talked to the state of California, and we got a state of California's license because Lake County gave us early activation, but not in the paper form, and in the between, it's just miscommunication. From the last planners, they says, okay, just if you get the plants in there, you get your state license, you can put the plants in, and we did what the last planner told us to do so, but I guess it's totally a miscommunication there.
I understand, and you know, unfortunately, there have been multiple changes in management and planners, and I could.
Yeah, so we did not even, get a chance to do anything, but just in prepared stage with a metric sending to state of California. State of California calling us to say, we want to go to the property to get your tagged plants to do inspection. At that point in time, we already cut it down because it's somehow paperwork did not quite go through efficiently from Lake County, so we just withdraw all that cultivation. That's that incident. I just want to clarify.
So that's all cleared up.
Yeah, it's all cleared up. There's really no issue. Since then we know we need to have a piece of paper and it goes to board. Before I don't know. We don't know. We just communicated with the previous planners, and then we get a state license, plants in the metric, made it over there, and then so then even a year later, after we already withdrawn everything over there, and a year later, state still says, why you do not want to renew your license? there's no point to renew the license when we haven't get this part done correctly.
Right.
So we did not do anything thereafter, keep working with the Lake County, with the community here to make sure everything we do is by the book, and we're going to support each other because I want to live in this beautiful county.
So there was no violation or
Right, no,
fine
they
imposed?
does not have any fines, doesn't have anything. We just follow the rules and we're strong. And that was that case. So it's just all misunderstanding, misleading, or we got a state license without the county give us early activation permission to the state. I would not able to get a state license.
Right, because you have to have one without the other, and you have to be in
Yes,
compliance
that's
with one
correct.
for them to green light you. I
Yeah.
totally
So right now,
understand.
I did not renew state license. I could have, but there's no point until we get the local figured out. Everybody's happy and protect everybody, right? So I'm helping everybody, and we are working with state, county, and our neighbor to ensure that the trucks stuck there will never happen in our care, because we goes up there, we already see the signs there, axles with 25 feet, the signs posted. It's not supposed to be on that road. There should not be any semi-truck with that long axles on that road.
Absolutely.
Yes, so county did the job, posted the signs there. They are not listening, they're not reading, they just do what they wanted to do. That's
By the
their
time-
responsibilities, and they are liable.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Do you have any other questions, Commissioner Hess?
I had a question for staff, I think. Ms. Khan also raised the concern that background checks are inadequate, that it's only the owners or applicants who are submitted to that check, and our employees also checked.
That was on my list as well.
Yes, the state law requires just background checks for the owners of the permit, or I mean the license. However, Lake County Code does require background checks, successful background checks for the owners of the permit as well as employees. However, typically at this stage, there are no employees because there is no, there is not the dual licensing and permitting system in place in order for them to operate. So but checking the background checks and double checking them against the list of employees is part of our annual compliance monitoring.
Thank you. And just kind of going over my notes as well. I know that cultural sensitivity was brought up by a member of the public, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys do provide, or it is a condition that they go through cultural sensitivity training, correct? Okay, so
Yes,
just so to put that in other terms, they actually go through training to be aware of what could potentially be an artifact.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Background checks, and then also, is there any information that you can provide in regards to the power drop or the power panel that they were, there was no information on that, on what the plans are for that?
So I do believe that it was addressed in the initial study.
Okay.
I believe that with any power, solar, it has to have permits. And they are required to have building permits, they're required to have building inspections, they are required to be up to code and things like that. So it has been analyzed in the initial study for the actual previous larger size. So it going smaller does not affect the environment anymore because it has been reduced in size.
Well, and the easement was increased as well, wasn't it, from 40 to 80 feet?
For the
Yes,
PG&E?
correct. PG&E easement was, it was 40 feet on each side of the power distribution lines, and in the original one, it had 40 feet altogether, but
Right.
they have done the increase from 40 feet on each side to what is required by the easement.
Excellent. I appreciate the map that you gave us too with that on there. Anything else on my list? Not really. Commissioner Chavez, do you have anything that you'd like to bring to light?
Yeah, so obviously, when construction begins, that's when we will see the highest impacts to the roads, to the community, and that's when it will mostly be seen. Obviously, once that construction phase ends, it'll be not as impactful to the area. However, as we've seen from other applications, and despite it not being under the control of the applicant, that the roads are like that, we've seen that is like one of the biggest issues, that road leading up to the project. The potential impacts within the project property can be mitigated to less than significant, as we see in this application. However, how will the impacts to the roads, to the neighbors, and in regards to traffic be mitigated to less than significant? We've had one of the applicants, or a team member of the applicant, who stated that there was a car that got stuck in the mud for 5 hours. I understand that the paved road ends right before you hit the grade, and I actually got a chance to drive up there before the first scheduled meeting for this project a couple months ago, I believe. And I actually drove up there with my truck, and it was really rough road to get to. And once up there, obviously you get a beautiful scenery of the whole valley, but being that high up is also very windy, which comes to my next concern, which is high fire risk in the area. So despite that being obviously out of the hands of the applicant, that area just happened to be like that. The high fire risk is one of the biggest concerns, because obviously things can get rebuilt. If you lose any equipment or all of that stuff, it can get bought again. But if there's a community up there that's stuck, regardless if it's a vehicle from the applicants or a vehicle from one of the wineries or any other operation that's going on over there on that gooseneck or horseshoe area, that could leave any of you guys, employees or yourselves, stuck up on that ridge. Obviously, life is more important than any, I'm trying to think of the word. Infrastructure or, or things, so
I was
it's.
gonna say, like, something you harvest or cultivate.
Yeah,
like,
it's something that you can, buy again or rebuild again. That's the biggest concern with that area. So those are the two issues that kind of bother me the most, because there's employees who have, who have families and, themselves as well. And it could be, like I stated earlier, it could be a truck that's not even you guys's, and everybody else gets stuck up there for whatever reason. And we did get a lot of rain this season, so the grass is really high as well. And it could start at the bottom, and it's going to work its way up. So I'm just concerned about having all this up there, and then the neighbors from that community as well. We did receive a lot of comments regarding, and most of them are about the road conditions. So we saw these pictures on the screen. So I'm just wanted to put my concerns and how I viewed this application from the drive that I had up there a couple months ago. So those are my comments.
I appreciate you sharing your personal drive and experience with us going up there. And as you were explaining that, I can't help but think, even if that semi was, when it was stuck at that certain part in the road, even if it wasn't very far up the road, thank God it didn't go further up the road. But regardless of where it was stuck, and it was stuck there for a very long time. Fortunately, they were able, I don't know, I could not imagine having any more staff up there, and just different bodies that would have to be up there to, for staff and for just the amount of danger. Commissioner Chavez, I appreciate you bringing that to light, and that it does involve a lot of people, not to mention down by the school and that road. Down there, I know that it's not the applicants personally. It's not their issue or their problem that needs to be solved on their behalf, but as a community decision based on the goods for the surrounding area, I'm having a hard time.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just a risk that the applicant is taking, being on, in that community, as well as the community as well, for the way that the roads just happen to be. So, and we've seen applications in the past, and it's the same issue over and over again with the trucks. Every time that a project comes up there, I see a truck stuck on that curve. So that's just one of the things that are very problematic for me for moving on with this project or any other project on the Hill, actually.
And knowing, each project is, we make that judgment when that does come, and each one is per case basis. But yeah, we've had definitely the major concerns with High Valley Road and that whole entire area is access, fire danger, the congestion, so it is an echo that we are hearing for sure.
Yeah, and it being a county maintained road, it doesn't look like it's maintained very well. And then there are comments of cars like speeding and, community members with their, pets that sometimes, or people that go on walks over there to enjoy the nature and the scenery. There's just a lot of issues, I think, up there that need to be addressed either by signage or, a little bit more maintenance up there, I guess. And then leading up to the project itself, that road is just, if we get any more rain, I think it's just going to keep deteriorating that road even more and more to the point where it's not accessible in the winter. I understand that most operations will occur during the dry season, but that's just anything that goes up there is you're exposed to the elements, and it's a long way down. I didn't time my drive all the way up there, but it's pretty far to get back down in case of an emergency or to get out in case of an emergency, and then having that horseshoe issue there. So it's a really sharp turn.
Commissioner Hess?
Yeah, just as an aside,
I think your mic's off again.
backwards today.
You're on mute. No.
It's an aside, but the county does have a 10-year priority road improvement plan in place, and it was just signed off on within the last couple of months. And it's identified over 300 miles of county roads that need to be either restored, repaved, or resealed, or rechipped, whatever it might be. And virtually every road in the county is on the list, and you can actually go and use GIS to look at the roads. But it's going to be very, very expensive, tens of millions of dollars, and a 10-year project. But currently, most of our roads, there's ratings from 0 to 50, and then 50 to 100, 100 being the best. And most of our roads are at 30 or worse right now.
Under 50.
And this plan would bring the roads on the list, which are most roads in Lake County, up to 50, which is an enormous improvement. But that's just to put in perspective the burden that the county is looking at, and it's daunting. But there is a plan in place, and funding will be
One bite at a time, they say.
Right.
Right? Okay.
Madam Chair, I just wanted to let you know we have one person in Zoom who has their hand raised.
Thank you, Sam. I'm trying to think if I officially closed public comment.
You did.
I did not?
You did.
Danae says no.
Oh, okay.
Okay, well, we do have public comment still open. We see you in the Zoom room. If you can raise your hand, we will unmute you. Please be sure to state your first and last name, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Good morning, Commissioners. Vance Ricks, I'm the county surveyor.
Good morning.
And I was talking to the road supervisor about the issue we have there at that switchback with the trucks.
Uh-huh.
And it's an unfortunate, it happened back to back. And that's the first time that we're aware of that has happened. And we're currently working on mitigation to stop this. And it was just an unfortunate event. One day, I believe there was work on the road and they cut it too sharp. And then the second time might have just been inexperience. But there are deliveries that go up to that site without issues. But the last one, we were aware of those photos and that email that was sent to us last week. It just unfortunately happened back to back. And we are currently working on mitigation to that.
It's good to know.
I appreciate you speaking on behalf of the road department and letting us know that that didn't just, sneak past you. So
Yes, it's not a normal occurrence. That's for sure. And it kind of took us surprise the first time. And I think it just had to do, there was a turnout that there was working on that side, and the driver just cut it too sharply. And then we don't know what happened the second time.
And just for my own knowledge, what are your plans to solve that issue? Are you planning on widening it? Are you going to put road signs out? Are you?
Well, there's currently road signs there.
Okay.
And telling about the curve, and
Lane.
before we haven't had issues with this. And we're currently working with the property owner and determining where the county limits are and right of way.
Sure.
And we're working on how to fix this issue most economically and efficiently.
Excellent. I again, thank you for chiming in on that. And I know that, it's not, there isn't just one business on that road. So your efforts are appreciated by all. Alrighty. One more time, we're going to go around the Zoom room, and then anybody else wants to speak in chambers, I will give you the opportunity to round up the last bit of public comment. Okay. Alrighty, we're going to who is it, Sam? Margot, we're going to unmute you. Please confirm your first and last name, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is Margot Kambara. It's great news to hear that the survey department and the road department have the horseshoe bend on their radar. It's great, and it's great that they're working on a solution. My question is, what is the timeline? Because if it's on the same timeline or a slower timeline, that is endangers the community of High Valley, I don't know if that's really a good mitigation. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. All right. No other hands in the Zoom room? No other hands. Thank you. You're welcome. And then we'll have one more person in chambers wishing to speak, and we'll give her 3 minutes. Please be sure to state your first and last name again.
Hi, it's Maria Kahn. So I just wanted to let Madam Chair know there is a sign down by the school that says tractor semis over 25 feet, kingpin to rear axle not advised. So it's placed on the right side of the road between the two entrances to the school parking lot. So it's in a really, they're going to turn right onto the road and just keep going.
And there's 100 other signs.
So, and it's just a very congested, confusing area because of all the activity that happens right by the school. So it's not really a visible sign. There probably should be another one that says, turn now, but I don't know that even if they did turn on that little road that goes towards the plaza, if those big trucks would be able to even get out through the plaza, because it's a very tight little area. And so I just wanted to bring that to your attention. And also the pictures did show how the road floods. So small vehicles are not able to pass either in the winter times when we get the heavy rains. It just covers the whole valley floor. And so we're trapped by that also. So there's several points that are a problem on the road. One is by the school entry point where it's heavily congested and there's children, and a terrible crosswalk situation that we keep bringing up over and over. Then there's the hairpin turn where the trucks get stuck, and that happens more regularly than the county realizes, only because a lot of them are going to Brassfield, and Brassfield certainly doesn't mention them to CHP, so they're not on record as having happened. They come down and get their people to dislodge them, and the county never knows. But we've been submitting public comments to CHP to let them know that this has happened again. And they're like, oh, okay. So I think it's just because they haven't been mentioned. And so, but we see them and we deal with them. The other area is the flooding of the valley floor. That's a problem for small vehicles. And then, of course, the ridge going up. They grade it twice a year, so we're told. I'm not sure that actually always happens, but you can be sure that when the rains do come, it washes all that grading out. It's just loose dirt that they're filling in. And so we see those big ruts come back every year. And so those are some serious issues that all have their own mitigations that need to be addressed, which makes High Valley Road and High Valley Ridge not a great place to put these grows, because there is only one way in, one way out for us. And so I just wanted to add those further comments. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I still have public comment open officially. If anybody else wishes to speak, this is your time.
No one in Zoom.
Thank you, Sam. No one in Zoom. I'm going to take a nice long glance around chambers. And I will officially close public comment. Before I forget to mention it, since the road department in that whole area by the school has been addressed multiple times, right now in Lake County, we're having these area council meetings, and I encourage people to get involved in their area planning committees, because these things like school safety, crosswalks, the congestion, however everything is like laid out, that could all, they want to hear about things like that from people who live there and have to go through that every single day. And if there's solutions, you can share them. But I just had to throw that out there, because I do appreciate your opening the dialogue.
I'm on the Earth Council.
Awesome. So public comment is closed. I'm looking for a consensus or any further conversation between us commissioners. I feel like we're at a point, but I'm just not sure if we're all. Talk to me, Commissioner Hess.
Well, you made the point at the outset that there's just three of us, and any application, when there's just three commissioners voting, if there is not unanimity, then the application is automatically denied, and of course there's an opportunity for appeal, et cetera. So this is always more awkward than it already is when there's just three of us. And I take Ms. Khan's earlier comments to heart, that sometimes we may seem brusque, we may seem like we have our minds made up. It's not true. We're your neighbors, we're your friends, we live in the same neighborhoods, we don't teleport in twice a month from Mars, dreaming of how we can make your lives more difficult. These are tough decisions sometimes, and I've had to look neighbors in the eye sitting here, voting against what they consider to be our communal interests. It's not easy, it's not fun, but it's not disregarding the community either. We take your comments seriously, as I hope you've seen here today. Having said all of that, even though there's just the three of us, I would be prepared to move forward today.
Yeah, and I have a comment too. Regarding the four corners of the application, obviously that road and the project being outside, those road conditions, I just wanted to bring that out because it was a concern to the community and to myself, just the way that I saw the issues going up to the road, but that's not within the application itself. The applicants have stated that they're using smaller trucks than the ones that we're seeing in the pictures. So everything within the application obviously looks good. It's been revised, and it would just be the I just wanted to make sure that those concerns were put out there, that the applicants know that what they're getting themselves into by having that project up there. And in order to have those issues mitigated, high fire risk, what are the plans that are associated with that for the safety of the employees, for the safety of anybody that's going to be working there, and for the community as well. Obviously, we can't tell the applicants to make a deal with the community, but it's something that definitely has to be discussed. And like Commissioner Hess was stating earlier, definitely talk to your neighbors before coming up here, because like that you at least have a plan of, you've talked to them and they've addressed their concerns directly to you guys before coming up to the commission. Because we've had instances where we had applicants and this is the first time meeting the neighbors. So then they're trying to meet here, and everything that already happened, it's there's two sides instead of coming together as one. So those are my comments.
I feel like those are all very, very good comments. And I know that we have usually a fire mitigation type of measure in the conditions of approval, or that it's always mentioned. But I like your idea of maybe as a community or as neighborly as you guys could possibly be, maybe just having an evacuation plan or, access to your suppression system if there's something like that. Excuse me. But that was something that I hadn't really ever thought about, but definitely being neighborly, offering your storage tanks if they're needed, but having a safety plan in place for your employees and for your people that live up and around there would be great.
Yeah, especially in an area where there's one way in, one way out. Because like I stated earlier, it could be somebody else's truck that's there. So I'm not saying exactly or specifically that it's one of you guys' truck getting stuck. And the equipment list that we got obviously doesn't fit those descriptions, but definitely keeping in mind that, any trucks larger than, 25 feet?
25 feet? Mm-hmm.
They're not allowed up there, so definitely communicating with the wineries as well. Something has to be done up there, but we can't tell you guys what to do in that sense, but definitely having some kind of community like group where you guys discuss all those issues would be best for everybody, I believe.
Thank you, Commissioner Chavez. I think, yes.
If
Hi,
I
Director
might.
Turner.
Thank you. Because the options before the Planning Commission were brought up, I just wanted to make sure we pointed out a couple that Morton mentioned. One is the bylaws were amended, I guess, last year to include a new option of only requiring a majority of the commissioners present to make a motion to continue an item. And we are confirming the zoning code also allows for an automatic appeal, which is if the commission takes no action. So that would be if you took no action and did not continue it, it would then count as an automatic appeal and be sent up to the Board of Supervisors for their consideration.
To be specific, in relation to the automatic appeals, the automatic appeal in section 21-58.40 applies when the commission is unable to take action because of either a legal disqualification or an abstention. So it isn't just a matter that you agree as a group that you can't make a decision. It's that there is something that prevents one of you from actually voting.
Thank you, Council.
Which leads to a denial.
Thank you. Clear. Thank you, Director Turner.
I'm prepared to offer a motion. I move that the Planning Commission find that the potential impacts associated with this project can be mitigated to less than significant through the implementation of the Mitigated Negative Declaration IS 20-39 submitted by Lou Farms Melee Lou for the property located at 8531 High Valley Road, Clear Lake Oaks, APN 006-003-34 will not have a significant effect on the environment, and that the Planning Commission adopt initial study IS 20-39 with the findings listed in the staff report dated June 13, 2024.
I'll second. Second. Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
I move that the Planning Commission find that the major use permit UP 20-33 applied for by Lou Farms Melee Lou on property located at 8531 High Valley Road, Clear Lake Oaks, APN 006-003-34, does meet the requirements of Section 51.4 and Article 27 of the Lake County zoning ordinance, and that the major use permit be granted based on the findings and subject to the conditions included in the staff report dated June 13, 2024.
I'll second. Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Please note that the applicant or any interested person is reminded that the zoning ordinance provides for a 7-calendar day appeal period. If there's a disagreement with the Planning Commission's decision, an appeal to the Board of Supervisors may be filed. The appropriate forms and applicable fee must be submitted prior to 5 p.m. on or before the 7th calendar day following the Planning Commission's final determination. Thank you. Alrighty. Moving on. Let's see. You can keep it while you're down here. Sorry, I got my stacks all mixed up here. Cool, I think I'm just going to wing it. Non-timed items or updates from staff. There's no timed items. Okie dokie. I will give everybody a few minutes to vacate chambers. Alrighty. Thank you very much. And if we can continue any type of conversations outside chambers, it would be greatly appreciated as we continue on with our meeting. Thank you. Hi, Director Turner.
Did you introduce department update, and that's why you're looking at me expectantly?
Yes,
Excellent. I'm ready.
During all the shuffling, I actually went through non-timed items and a department update. So
Very
the floor,
efficient.
The floor is yours.
Thank you.
Okay.
I have two things to talk to the Planning Commission about today. First of all, I would like to introduce the latest member of our team. Damian Marks is our new Staff Services Analyst.
Welcome. Thank you.
He will be focusing on grant support, grant management, and managing the various contracts that we have in all 3 divisions. So we are extremely thankful to have him. He has extensive background dealing with the public, specifically in the loan industry, banking industry, and we do appreciate his intelligence, his character, how well he speaks and presents, and we feel very confident he'll make a great representative of our team.
Okay. And what was his first name?
Damian.
Damian. Hi. Would you mind giving us a little information about yourself, a little spiel? Sure. Because, I've been around Lake County a long time, and I don't think I've seen you around. I mean, call it what you will, but we're happy to see you. Give us a little information.
My name is Damian Marks. I've been in and out of Lake County since 1982. My grandparents introduced me to this area as a vacation home, and I moved my family up here in 2019.
Awesome.
As said, I have extensive background in working with the public, worked in banking for a long time and everything from lending to business banking, owned my own insurance agency for a while. So have had a lot of experience as far as contracts and things like that. I'll be expanding my knowledge working in the grants department, so I'm very excited about that. And moved my family here because I'm passionate about Lake County. So
excellent.
I'm looking forward to taking the knowledge and experience I do have and bringing it to the table.
Excellent. We're happy to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Grants are very important.
Yeah, grants are, we definitely, I'm just learning the language of grants, and it's a whole language for sure. So I'm happy to, if I can help you with anything, I'm easy to find, I'm easy to get a hold of. So if you need anything that way, I'm here.
I appreciate that. I'm very excited about the grant portion of my role, so
For sure.
hopefully able to bring more to the table for Lake County.
And I feel like once those start to roll in, and we get some projects that are shovel ready or things that we can put the money towards, then the visual of the public can kind of shift in a positive way. So
hopefully make a big difference for us.
I'm excited. Thank you, Damian.
Thank you.
The vision of the Community Development Department is to provide exemplary public service through 3 priorities. The first one is staff recruitment and retention. The second is staff professional development. And the third is achieve fiscal sustainability for the planning and the code enforcement divisions. So bringing Damien onto our team helps support that third priority. Cool. Thanks, Damien. Then the next thing, we have been gathering applications for the local area plan advisory committees. Each planning area, of which there are 8, has its own advisory committee, and the purpose is to really get down in the weeds, do a granular talk and discussion, and gain consensus on portions of the local area plans that could include adjustment of community growth boundaries, adjustment of the planning area boundaries, any changes of design standards, or even designation of special study areas. We had been proposing a deadline, or we had been working on a deadline of application collection, which was the last day of May 31st, with the thought that it would then get quickly turned into the board agenda to be done in mid-June. But there have been, there's a holiday on the June 19th weekend, and so that board meeting was canceled. And it looks like the 25th may not have quorum with the supervisors. So we have all of this extra time, and we actually still have a number of vacant spots that could be filled with further applications. So we are requesting that the community please consider continuing to send us applications for these 8 different planning areas. If they have questions, they are welcome to contact our department, or alternatively, they can go on to the hub website for the Lake County 2050 project, which is lakecounty2050.org. And they can find all kinds of information about which area plan or planning area they might be in. There's a link to the application, which is a fillable application online, and throw their hat in the ring. So we really need that local grassroots experienced participation to make sure that we are collecting as much community input as possible, which will just in the end improve the quality of these long-range plans.
And Director Turner, do you remember when you introduced the team of the advocates of the, I think it was a bunch of young ladies? AmeriCorps, yeah. Do you guys talk to them on a usual basis, or like do we check in with them every now and again? How are they doing? Are they getting good feedback from the community? Are they going to events?
They have gotten great feedback from the community. They were able to collect 718 surveys, which our consultant team at PlaceWorks tells us is the most surveys they've ever collected consulting with a jurisdiction. So we're very proud of that.
I think that's because they're like in person, on the ground, boots on the ground. Good for them.
Yes, they're very, you said personable, and, they represent the community well, so I think people feel comfortable approaching them and talking with them. Their terms are wrapping up. They're going to be finishing up at the end of July, but we're planning to use them for kind of one more push. We're developing an additional survey to talk with the community a little bit more about key issues and land use changes. And so our AmeriCorps partners will help us canvass that survey over July. And then they'll take a break over August. Some of them will return to service in September for a new term. And so we're hoping to engage that team again in the beginning of the fall and continue to develop that partnership with them.
That's excellent. Thank you for that, Shannon.
You're welcome.
Over 700. That's neat.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. And additionally, we did get a couple applications from that team for LAPACs. So yeah, we're kind of sucking them in as we can. So
they drink the water, right?
I tell you,
they come back. See,
dealing with community engagement in order to create a substantial vision is like, I think it's heady stuff. So apparently we got a few planning geeks in that.
We nerd out on it. I know.
Right?
I know. That's why we. See, and then Michelle has her hands over here. Is going, yes, come to the county, come work at planning. Okay, if there's no other further updates.
That concludes my update.
Okay,
Thank you.
Cool. It is 10:54. I will go ahead and adjourn today's meeting 10:54.